Hi everyone, and welcome to Sinking Feeling. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but I've just been too down seeing all the horror fixes that Wargaming have been putting out and how badly the CV rework has been going. Just for a point of reference, this was a video replay sent to me by my friend Hannah, who plays on the North American server. This was played over the Christmas period when she earned herself the Prince Idol Frederick. And I must say I am quite impressed about how well she is getting on as a player. She hasn't been playing long, and she will make some very interesting choices during the course of this game, which is going to be running in the background. Now, as we all know, it's only a couple of days now until for NA it's tomorrow, for EU it is Thursday, when the CV rework next patch goes live, and we get the early introduction of the British CVs. The question is anyone really going to be interested? And that is probably a firm no. The fact that Wargaming have failed to actually implement the rework properly. They've been handing out nerfs left, right and centre. The Hakuyu now is virtually unplayable. The Midway is so-so. And Wargaming's predictions before the rework of there'll be multiple carriers, there'll be tons of players all around, we may have to extend it to 3 carriers per game. Remind me, players out there, how many carriers have you actually seen recently at high tiers? I will tell you my own personal experience. There are multiple games where I see none at high tier. No one's playing them because they are unplayable. So thinking that, they're going to need multiple carriers. They're going to have to set it up so people are going to be facing 2-3 carriers per match. No. Not a chance. And there's a very good reason for that. The anti-aircraft firepower is just too much. You lose too many squadrons. And the equivalent thing would be if you had... let's say on your ship you had your guns and you had them reloading. Now let's say they loaded not the turrets but each barrel of the turret individually, and then as soon as you're ready to fire you press that fire button, and then you have to wait for the turrets to activate. That is what CV players are having to go through. Now, constantly having that messed with, I think, is driving a lot of people away. Yes, destroyers were, at the forefront. That was a fantastic citadel for her, by the way. Yes, we do understand that enemy destroyers, or destroyers on both teams, are being hunted down mercilessly by the CV, but there's a firm reason for that. It's because they couldn't get through, after all the nerfs, of hitting enemy cruisers and battleships. They were losing too many squadrons, so the destroyer was an easy target. Now they've made this even more of an issue now by having the rocket planes are now completely blind and completely useless. What would my recommendation be? Get rid of the rocket plane. Get rid of the rocket plane and make it so that you have better, make it so that your dive bombers and torpedo bombers, like we had originally, are able to still do their damage. So USN, that probably wouldn't be that much of a problem. But for IGN, it probably would because of the armor piercing issue. So you'd probably have to do a bit of more tinkering to make them playable like that, you see. But, so, you get rid of the rocket planes. Okay, so what do? You don't increase the squadron size of the torpedo and the dive bombers, but what you do is you increase the speed at which they reappear on the flight deck. So that sort of makes that a lot better. Then you come to the issue of being up tiered. Now, for me personally, I would go with a 1 +1 -1 spread on all CVs. That would avoid you being up tiered and there being too much of a climb. Those would personally be my two recommendations that would probably see more CV players come back. Your play on it may be different, and I'd love to hear it. I love healthy chat when it comes to, but I think too many people are either jumping on the DD bandwagon or the CVs have been nerfed far too much. Now, I do have a video of me and my Lexington with the latest hotfix, and I do relatively well. I think that the view that CVs are this overpowered object of the sky that can kill multiple things is completely wrong. And it is now in more of a support venture. And I think the more CVs that start to play as a support role, many people won't like it. Many people won't like the fact that CVs have now been relegated to a support role other than a massive damage dealing object. But the one thing you have to remember is an aircraft carrier was never designed as a massive damage dealing object in its own right. It was designed as support. It's designed as command and control. If you remember, after the attack on Pearl Harbor, the fleet at Pearl Harbor had 4 carriers. They had the Lexington, the Yorktown, the Hornet, and the Enterprise. And after the battle, especially the 3 Yorktown class, they formed a nucleus of their own individual task forces, and they went out as a battle group. And remember, this is a team game, so the carrier should be there to support the rest of your team, spotting, helping out when they can, providing anti-aircraft fire support with their fighters. And yes, people do miss the fact that you can't control multiple squads, and yes, there are times when I miss the old RTS style as well. I played both. They both had their strengths and they both had their weaknesses, and it can be understood as to why wargaming has gone down this route. Do I agree with it? No. Do I agree that it needs changing? Yes. But the problem is now you have the same problem that you had previously of virtually no one is playing carriers, and it's... what do? After all this time and effort of trying to bring out a class, or bring a class back into the game that was barely played and had such a massive skill gap, and now it's being played at all, well, what would you do? For me, I don't know. I do play my CV a lot, but is it because I want to see it become something? You know, I say I'm an okay battleship player. I love playing my cruisers. I'm terrible at destroyers. I will admit that personally and wholeheartedly. I'm absolutely garbage. But then again, I'm just an average player. Your opinions and mileage will probably vary, but that's what makes us human. We each have our own opinion, and that is what defines us. But just crying in comments that, you know, oh no, it's terrible this, oh it's terrible that, it's terrible the other, wargaming aren't listening to us. Well, they're probably listening, but they're probably listening in the fact that they have something they have to put out and they have to make changes. But the biggest problem is that if no one's playing them, they can't get the numbers back and they can't make the changes. And that is the double-edged sword. They were thinking they'd have lots of people playing CVs to get enough feedback in the statistics, because that's what they base it all on, in order to make a firm decision. Look at the statistics, look at the feedback, and work from there. And unfortunately, it isn't going to work for them because no one's playing it. Is there a solution? If there is, and I'm not sure that there is, but we'll have to see once this new patch comes out. Are the new British aircraft carriers going to make a difference? I don't know about that either. Your guess is as good as mine. Well, that's quite enough ranting about the aircraft carrier. Anything else on the horizon? Well, we do have the changes to sonar and hydro. I did play a bit on the PTS. Is it going to change much? It depends. And I'm probably going to give my opinion on it in a later video after I've played some games once the PTS goes live. And I'll probably expect some early information about that from my friend Hannah, who we've been seeing playing here, as she gets to endure it tomorrow when it goes live. Myself, I have to wait till Thursday. Well, it looks like she had a pretty good battle here, actually. I do like the Prince Idol Frederick. I never got hold of it. Do I wish I had? I've got decent tier 6s, and I don't really play them as much as I'd like. If I'm on a quick tier 6 outing, I'll take the Mutsu out. And she wins. Well, I think that well and truly wraps up this episode of Sinking Feeling. I am thinking about trying and make this a once a week thing where I put my thoughts and feelings across. Just to stop me venting in the chat when I'm actually playing and venting on other videos about how unfair things seem. But hopefully you've stuck through with me to this point. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you on the high seas.